Welcome back to HBO Girls Rewatch.
I'm Amelia Ritaller.
And I'm Evan Lazarus. And today we're doing season 6, episode 5, Gummies.
Sing to me, Paolo. Sing for me.
Will you explain that?
From the Lizzie McGuire movie.
But how's that connected to Gummies?
No, it's just because you couldn't sing.
Oh,
and by that I mean you couldn't
pronounce.
Well,
it's funny because
kind of A to C. I skipped B. I hope that's okay.
I haven't been to Whole Foods in about 2 months. And every time I go there, I get my eating disorder gummies, which are the ones that don't have sugar in them.
Yeah, of course.
Can I say that out loud?
Yeah, I think we're looping back around to a point where we can actually be really problematic with the way we talk about our bodies and food.
Yeah, but I usually am those sort of kinds of stuff I steal because they're $10 for 12 gummies.
You steal everything.
No, I don't.
Don't pretend it's just that. I don't know anything you've ever bought.
I don't at all. This is the one thing where it's a luxury cost. So I scanned it. I accidentally did scan it this time, so I did spend $10 on 10
Oh my god,
gummies.
to have to pay full price for your Smart Sweets gummies. Girl, I know the brand. I've seen you eat them.
Moving to Bushwick, that has been the biggest lifestyle change I've had to incur because they don't sell Smart Sweets in Bushwick.
By the time this episode comes out, I will be officially living in Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Oh
Dreams come true. Guys, if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Amelia hates Bushwick so much she's moving to Williamsburg.
No, and you guys all saw it coming. I can only imagine. But end of an era, start of a new era.
Checks the time.
Do you guys like my dress? Is it crazy to wear? For audio listeners, I am wearing kind of as if I'm going to a ball. And kind of Evan's doing the thing that Edie Monica mentioned in our previous episode, where you wear one cool top and one loose pant, sport pant.
Absolutely.
Killing it.
Well, you know what you're kind of doing right now? Do you know that Vogue clip where it's a Vogue editor writer in 2000s, and they're filming her and they're like, what do Vogue people wear around the office? She's like, evening wear. Stuff that people would wear in their fanciest night out, we wear at Vogue. And it's that's what you do in the basement every week.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and be in a Bushwick basement, and I'm dressed as if I'm ready for my high school prom. Yeah. And I've decided to go with a short leg. And I did my makeup literally full for the show tonight.
You're
right
doing
now.
It now?
Yeah, I said why not knock it out.
Are you able to keep it on all day?
We'll see. I used some finishing spray, so we'll see if it works.
We weren't sure how many tickets we sold, but I got a lot of link clicks today, so I'm hoping everything turned around.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll find out the hard way.
By this time, it'll be weeks since it happened.
LOL. Amelia and I also did the Evil Laugh contest. Did we ever talk about that online?
We said we were going to do an Evil Laugh competition.
So it was very interesting.
And you said the New York Times definitely isn't coming.
But they did come.
And they did come. So why don't you apologize to me now on the air?
I'm so sorry. I'll never doubt you again.
Thank you.
They did come. It was a very interesting event. 40 people were competing, and then 200 people kind of came to watch.
At a Greenpoint bar that is not meant for that. I mean, it was breaking fire codes for real. There was an airflow issue. There was a person flow issue. My laugh did not win my heat, but I won the hearts and minds.
Yeah, Amelia did a meta laugh, which was it kind of would have done further down in the competition, but you were round one.
We showed our laughs in the previous episode, but basically everybody was doing actual classical evil laughs, and then I did a cheerleader laugh of and I went third, so it was too early on to subvert the art form.
Yeah, the New York Times rated their top 10 laughs. I made a list. I was the last on the list. They went through the other 9 contestants. They were like, this person's laugh was so amazing. It felt like lasers were shooting around the room.
No offense, but that one guy that I went on 2 dates with, getting in the top 10 list.
No, he didn't make the top 10. He made the front of the article.
For him to make the front of the article with his weak ass laugh was disappointing.
Well, because it was a baseline laugh. That was an introduction laugh because it was so boring. It's the only way you could start an article off.
I hope this doesn't get back to him.
I ran into him yesterday at a singles speed dating event.
Okay. And on that amazing note, we are going to cross this off to our guest. We're so excited. They were recommended to us by the one and only Rain Fresher Kwan. We're so excited. I've been following them on Twitter for years. It's going to be a perfect episode. Frost dissolving now. Here joining us on the couch is the one and only P.E. Moskowitz.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
A 20-minute walk from Ridgewood.
Yeah, I walked over here. It's really hot out.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the fall and the spring to the summer, so...
No one's ever said that before. I'm like, yeah, it is. This is coming out like after this, but this is the first hot week of the year. For 4 days, it's going to be hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't actually have the concept of spring or fall in New York. It kind of just goes from like winter to summer.
Right.
There's barely any transition anymore.
I know. I mean, I grew up here and I feel like there used to be.
Yeah.
So that's kind
You've
of scary.
felt the effects of climate change.
I have felt the effects
childhood to now.
Yes. Yes. I
That's
remember.
terrifying.
I know. I remember an actual fall and an actual spring, which is
I do too.
actually terrifying.
I know. I'm like, I don't remember the last time it snowed, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I prefer it that way.
Yeah.
I know. I always thought when I moved to New York City, because I saw a bunch of Christmas movies about New York City, it would be like ice on the streets, stacked up snowbanks, like for months and months. And it's like, it didn't even happen once this year.
The movies weren't lying, by the way. It just stopped happening.
Exactly.
It used to actually be like
that. I used to have like blizzard
days
days in elementary school.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Except about the show Girls is like they never capture winter ones.
No,
They're
that's
just
true.
Like living summer to summer, which is awesome, and I would love to live that way.
I wonder if it's a release schedule thing, but almost no shows choose to cover winter.
You can't film.
Right. It's probably a lot harder to film, and like just for consistency's sake, like finding the right amount of snow each day to make it seem like the same day.
Yeah. I'm always watching Gilmore Girls, and the snow isn't realistic. And I'm like, I know this is Burbank, bitch. Like, they're like, it's a blizzard. And I'm like, well, how come there was no snow in that one scene? And then in the other one, there's a bunch of fake stuff. Like, don't lie to me.
No, that shit pisses me off because they're like always like in a tube top and like a light jacket. And you're like, it's winter out. It's the deepest part of winter. And it's like, no, it's not. Or that one jacket you own every day. That's how you do winter.
Right.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Wait, but you're born and raised New York City?
Yeah, I grew up in downtown Manhattan.
Oh my God, that's the chicest thing I've ever heard.
Well, much like Lena Dunham, yeah, my parents were some of the first like loft people.
Oh my God.
So we grew up in kind of similar circumstances.
Did you read Not That Kind of Girl? And you're like, wait.
I actually haven't read that book, but I should.
She talks a lot about growing up in a loft in New York.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a unique experience, but I feel like when I was younger, I kind of like hated... She's like a private school kid and I was a public school kid, and so like there was like a lot of beef.
You're actually nothing like that girl.
Right, exactly. But now I'm like, actually we're pretty much exactly the same in a lot of ways. So narcissism of small differences.
You're righter.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
I really can't get over the word that you used a second ago, which is loft people.
You know, classic.
Loft people.
Loft people. Yeah.
Well,
I always am thinking about them. How did you first find Girls?
Yeah.
That's such a good question. I think I found it from hating it when it first came out because
that's a classic trope on the pod.
Yeah, and I remember getting into an argument with a friend who was like, "You're being sexist or whatever for hating the show," and I was like, "I don't think so. I think I just like I had like a chip on my shoulder about gentrification in New York and like growing up here and feeling like, I don't know, this place kind of sucks now." And I was like, I don't want to watch a show about like 4 white girls in Brooklyn. Like, and so I didn't watch it for a long time. And then I don't know what made me revisit it, but as soon as I did revisit it, I was like, holy shit, this is one of the best shows I've ever seen. And I can't believe I didn't give it a chance at first.
Yeah, everybody we know who had to step away or like didn't get into it and then re-finds it and is like, oh my God, every line of this show is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Lena Dunham is a genius, I think.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I was just, as I watched the episode in preparation for today, like every shot, every setup, like, I don't know, she's so meticulous and like so thoughtful about how everything is
also
done.
We're so sorry for bringing on the most serious episode of this.
Oh no,
show.
I loved it.
I love this episode. The last episode we just watched, I didn't really like.
Really?
And it was just like too much setup.
Yeah.
But this one I was like, it's just like, this one's for Elijah heads everywhere.
Yeah.
If you like Becky Ann Baker, this one's for you.
Oh my God.
We should dive into it. We're gonna do Minute to Win It, where we synopsize the episode in 1 minute.
Oh, it's 11:11. Does 11:11 mean anyone to anyone here?
Make a wish.
Do we care about angel numbers?
I personally do not.
I actually am finally caring about them.
I know. Every time I look at your phone, you're Googling a different angel number.
Oh my God.
I'm like, not every number is an
like,
angel number.
You can only see 666 so many times before you start having questions.
Right.
Yeah. And I kind of got to a point where it was like, I'm seeing it twice a day. I have a question.
Right.
What the hell's going on?
Maybe you'll discover a secret to the universe that none of us know.
Yeah, text it to me when you do.
I won't.
Okay. All right, here is season 6, episode 5, Gummies.
Ray is cleaning out Hermes stuff and he is heartbroken from his loss. And Shoshana's there and it's like, actually, I'll never die and I'll always be here for you. Hannah is telling Elijah, it's time to clean up your room because we're going to be a little bit more adults around here because my mom is coming to town and she is away from her dad for the first time. So please, can we be on our best behave?
And then, of course, we cut to Marnie going to Hermes' house to help Ray, but she doesn't want to. She's got Pilates to get to. And then Ray is like, okay, you don't really care about me and we don't really talk. Let's break up. And Marnie's like, no, I'm not a bad person. Please don't say I'm a bad person. And then she goes to her Pilates class. And then, of course, Loreen shows up and...
Oh, I have to do the rest of this.
We'll help.
Yeah, Loreen is... kind of a bitch to Hannah about her pregnancy. I was expecting her to be like, very like joyful about it. And Hannah, Loreen goes to the laundromat with Hannah, takes a bunch of weed gummies.
So many.
Yeah.
So too many.
And then eventually gets like lost in the city, like on a munchies run basically. And Elijah and Hannah have to go track her down and find her. And are running through the city and finally find her in like a Chinese restaurant.
Literally. And then, of course, we have Adam and Jessa are now shooting their film. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Suspended disbelief. How did they write and get all the production stuff going? But they're filming all these scenes where there's a fake Hannah named
her name
Nina?
No,
Mira.
It's Mira.
Mira's there. She's getting slapped. Jessa is suddenly realizing that maybe Adam and Hannah did have a meaningful relationship and she's not liking what she's seeing. And Adam's like, shut up. And she's wearing a cool red lip. And then, of course, the episode ends with they save Loreen. Hannah tells Elijah they're pregnant inside of a Chinese restaurant kitchen. And Elijah is like, you're going to be a terrible mother. And Hannah starts to cry. And then Hannah goes home, sits on her stoop. And who's there but Mira, fake Hannah. And they talk about motherhood and the episode ends.
It's beautiful.
It's one of my favorite scenes that I remember is that last scene in the episode where fake Hannah's talking to real Hannah. I think it's such a good setup.
It's so good, and it's so easy for like a fake Hannah thing to be so tacky and weird. But I found her really powerful.
Yeah, and I think it's very cool that they were matching dresses. That was fun for me.
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
both in yellow. It's like, oh, you really know what you're doing here.
Right.
Costumes department went off.
Important question for you.
Yeah.
Girl, what girl are you?
Oh my God. I don't know. I feel like Hannah makes the most sense because I'm a writer.
At the end of the day, when we have a Substacker on the pod, it's like you're probably Hannah.
Yeah. So I mean, but I relate a lot to, I don't know, Shoshana sometimes. I mean, I relate a lot to, I think the genius of the show is that you can be any of them at any point and that they're all kind of part of you, you know?
Yeah. So. Do you feel mainly Hannah, or do you feel like you came into your Hannah-ness and were like born a show, you know?
Yeah. I feel like I try to be like, Hannah's almost aspirational to me.
Oh my God. This is the first time anyone's ever said that.
I wish I could be, she's like so much herself, you know? Like I'm also a writer, but I feel like I'm more like put together. And sometimes I don't like that about myself. Because,
you seem really put together.
Oh, thank you. But sometimes I don't like that because I feel like I'm like very like controlling of my own life. And I don't let my freak flag fly enough.
Totally.
And so
to reference Shrek the musical.
So I feel like Hannah is just a kind of mess in a way I appreciate and wish I could channel a little more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the episode prior to this, I don't know if you watch it, but Hannah has a scene with a female author where she's like, writers are so inclined to be like, I have to go to a cabin somewhere and just like write for 6 months, where it's like actually you have to go live life in order to be a writer. Does that resonate with you?
Yes. I mean, I think you have to, I always tell other writers, like, get off the internet, because I feel like that's the people are just always like looking at the exact same things and then pulling inspiration from that. And it's like, go sit in a park, go like do drugs with friends, go do go do anything. And so I feel like, that experiential aspect is really necessary to being a writer. And I mean, sitting in a cabin in the woods can be helpful for the actual writing process, but
not for the inspiration.
Not for the inspiration.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, everyone I know, it's like, all I need is a cabin in upstate New York for 3 weeks and I can write the next great pilot. And it's like, maybe not.
Right. I mean,
let me believe.
I think it can be fun to stay in a cabin in upstate New York for 3 weeks, but you have to live a life. And I feel like Hannah lives her life.
Literally.
She does. Yeah. As much as she's messy, it's like cool how in her body she is.
Yes. Well, and how unapologetic she is about who she is. And same with the real Lena Dunham too, something I really like about her.
Same.
Well, I think something people forget about upstate New York is like, it's actually really fun as well.
Yeah.
I get distracted. I'm like, I'm walking down Hudson. There's like a lot of fun vintage stores on that street.
Nobody's talking about that.
No one's talking about how fun upstate New York is.
The upstate is.
It's like, I'm going to get distracted there as well. Sorry, Dia Beacon is the 15th largest museum in the world for a reason.
Yeah, I love Dia Beacon, honestly.
I love Dia Beacon.
Thank God I hate museums.
Oh my God.
I get so bored because I am Instagram brain fried. Like, we went to a museum in Miami and I like walked through the whole thing in like 1 minute. I was like, okay, let's go. It's like, no. Babe.
In your defense, Amelia bought an espresso. They told her she couldn't bring it into the gallery space, so she had to chug it in 10 seconds.
Oh my God.
So it's like, she's energized.
I had to consume 200 milligrams of caffeine in 1 minute.
I think my trick for museums is that you have to go alone, because I feel kind of judged when I'm with other people. And I also feel like I'm supposed to have a reaction that is like legible to other people.
100%. There's a performance of going to museum with another.
And I think part of the reason that I like Dia Beacon is because the last time I went alone, and I was just like sitting in a room with like these huge pieces of art, and like I don't know, I like almost cried. I was like, this is beautiful, because
it is. It's a place you can cry in, Dia Beacon. There's so much space to cry in that museum.
Yeah.
And
wow. And we're actually sponsored by them. So shout out to them.
So me going to museums with 4 Pratt students is the wrong way to go. With no art background. Huh.
Ev, what girl are you this week?
Well, I'm like, you're so Marnie. No offense, all love.
Okay. Well, I asked you the question.
This week I'm not really resonating with anyone in particular. I'm like,
I know you actually weren't in this episode.
I really don't feel like I was in this episode. If anyone, I'm the mom.
You don't even get high though.
I know, but if I was to get high, I would go all the way and I would green out.
You would want scallion pancakes for sure.
And I'd be like, can we make these egg rolls crispier, please? Yeah, absolutely. That is a big part of me. But overall, I'm like, there's like 4 or 5 episodes in the show where I like don't really see myself. Or I'm the actress who's like really turning it on, and then it's like, actually got 3 kids at home.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just met you, but I feel like you're kind of the actress. Like,
you're Mira.
I'm so Mira.
Yeah. You're
like,
mother
that was
of
a great
3.
take. Can I call my mom for 25 minutes?
Incredible.
Girl, what girl are you?
I am 100% Marnie. There was some Marnie lines where I was like, I've said that for
No, you
sure.
said that. I was like, they copied you this time.
I am, of course, a Pilates princess.
Have you been to Quiet Pilates?
No, I don't think Quiet Pilates or Physique 57. I think they're jokes.
No, Physique 57's real place.
Really? Okay. Well, I have been to Pilates that is quiet, and then I've been to Pilates that is loud. But when Marnie is like, I have to switch from Quiet Pilates to Physique 57, like just to keep it like a good, healthy mix. That's so me with ClassPass. I'm like, I don't understand people who join one studio and they're like, I do bar method every day, all of my life. I'm like, no, you got to go to bar method, and then you got to go to Form 50, and then you got to do all of it.
Well, we actually somehow always come back to this point in the podcast where it's like people really love Tracy Anderson and her Soul Cycle, and they commit their whole lives to it.
Right.
Yeah. Do you work out?
I play tennis a lot.
That's actually the perfect workout, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I love tennis. It's like,
wait, how are you playing in the city?
There's public courts kind of all over, but
that is so true. In my head, it's an LA sport.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard here because, especially during the summer, another reason I don't like the summer is because everyone comes out to play tennis, and then you have to like wait for a court. And
are you reserve, or are you kind of just show?
You just show up. Yeah.
Wait, I'm like, all I know is there's one public park. In Cooper Park, there's one public court.
There's 2 in Cooper Park,
okay,
and then there's
2.
4 at Jackie Robinson, which is in Bed-Stuy, and then there's like
There's a bunch of
like further. You kind of have to drive there, but like past Ridgewood. Yeah, there's like a huge park out there.
There's some in McCarran. That's where we took our cover
There's
art.
a whole city past Ridgewood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Queens is huge.
Queens is huge.
We always forget that.
I always forget. I'm like, all it is something that exists on L terrain. If it's not there, and it's like, that's a different place.
No, yeah, I have a fantasy of moving like out past Ridgewood and like into like a house out there.
Absolutely.
Like by the baseball stadium.
Yeah, or like, I mean, that's more Flushing, but like down, I don't know, like there's just like random parts of Queens that are basically just like the suburbs, and there's like huge parks next to them, and
you're like, I can walk to JFK.
Yeah.
Perfect.
No, writers can't be alone in a cabin upstate.
Right. They can be alone in a cabin in Queens though.
Yeah. There's no rules against that. Where should we start with the episode? Was there any plot line that you were like, this one's the best?
I mean, I was really surprised at how rude everyone was to Hannah about her pregnancy.
I know.
Because I feel like if even like my worst friend who I was terrified of having a baby was pregnant, I would be like, congratulations, like that's amazing, you know? You're supposed to react in a certain way even if you really feel weird about it. Like you're supposed to, you know,
perform.
They were all being very honest.
Yes.
Like there was there was no layer of like, how would this affect you? Yeah, it was very whatever. I do guess Loreen, like I saw Loreen's reaction as like not unkind.
It was kind until she got high, and then she's like, every time I look at your baby, I'll see death.
Yes. I mean, that was crazy. But I mean, and that was honest, but like when Hannah was like in the doorway and told her mom she was pregnant and Loreen was on the couch, if I had told my mom something like that and she didn't even like get up from the couch, I would like cry. I would like die inside, you know?
Right.
Like no hug, no anything.
Hannah didn't cry about anyone's reaction until Elijah at the end. Like, she really can take it.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like it would destroy me in the first day. But I'm just like, my mom would be so happy.
Yeah. Hannah's stronger than I am. That's
Hannah's stronger than all of us.
I mean, the thing is, I can never get pregnant, so it's never something that's even crossed my mind of being like, what would it be like if I got pregnant and told my parents?
Right.
It's like the closest thing I can relate to is me telling them I'm in a relationship, and they're like, okay, and then that's like how they react.
I wonder how my parents would respond if me, because I'm the same age as Hannah in the show right now, if I called them up and said, guess what, I'm pregnant and keeping it. I'm sure my mom would be like, do you want to move home? I'll raise it. And then my dad would be like, okay, I thought you were a girl boss.
Your dad finally picks up your phone call.
Yeah, he wouldn't answer. I feel like my dad would be like, my dad like put me in a box of like, your career daughter. So if I was like, I'm actually mother daughter, he'd probably be like, wait, I thought you were going to be a CEO.
Right.
Why not both? Women can have it all.
Women can't have it all is what I learned this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's really weird. 30 Rock, one of my other favorite shows, both 30 Rock and Girls kind of end with the point that women can't have it all.
Yeah, we really thought we could do it, but it's like, no, something's got to give.
Also, anytime I see someone that has it all, it's like they've never been more stressed before, and like owning Bumble is not as good as you think.
Right. And also
owning Bumble is not as good as you
think.
Oh,
yes. I also feel like a lot of people who like have it all just have a lot of help, like hired help, you know?
I know. You can have it all if you're literally paying multiple people's salaries.
Yes, exactly.
Are we going to read this?
Okay, I took a picture. So Hannah's in her apartment at the beginning of the episode making a list on Microsoft Word
God, I love that.
Of reasons why she would be a bad mom.
We have to release an Instagram photo of like every list that this girl creates.
I know. Okay. Reasons it's insane to have a baby. I'm only 27. I act even younger than that. I'll probably never see that dad again. I am bad at sports. I will make less than $24,000 this year. I once forgot about a guinea pig for 6 weeks. I have oral herpes. I don't enjoy getting my nipples sucked. Girl boss.
It's such a good list.
Oh my God, wait, you had it too?
Yeah, I had it too. I literally screenshotted it because I was like, that's the perfect list.
We're sisters.
How did you get yours so blurry, Amelia?
I know. Why is yours so cool looking?
I like screenshotted it like on the computer as I was watching.
Wait,
you probably took a photo.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
When I do that, they have...
it blacks it out. You have to turn off... hardware acceleration on Google Chrome. And
Wait,
then,
you know everything.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'm always wondering because right now
acceleration.
It's like in the settings. I just saw like a tweet about it once. That's like this is like some bullshit setting that keeps you from screenshotting things.
Oh my god, that will change my life. I'm always trying to take a screenshot. It's like it's blackness is just shown right back at me.
Yeah. No,
it's like, look at yourself, bitch.
I know. I love taking screenshots of things I'm watching. So
I'm really into like the Bridgerton online presence, like the PR following.
Oh my god, Penelope's new outfits. I'm like, I want to screenshot that for later. Please.
Literally, but like there's all these clips online of the show. I'm like, how are these teens making these?
Right.
It's hardware accelerator extension.
Yes, exactly. Well, no, not extension. A setting. Yeah, but
setting. I've never heard that word.
I also feel like it's just really stupid from like a PR standpoint that these companies would want people to stop taking screenshots. It's like not like you're watching the episode.
Well, I think they're scared
people
record it and then upload it.
Right, but if anyone
screenshots are really great.
Yeah, screenshots spread the word. No, if someone's gonna figure out how to like record a whole episode and upload it, they'll do that regardless. You know,
it's crazy that executives are not understanding like the shareability factor of content is like what makes money.
Right, exactly.
Like, on this couch right now.
I'm like, I will go to the head of HBO. TikTok's about to ban us for breaking their creativity program rules because we keep using existing IP.
They said that?
They emailed us.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was for some program where we would get paid for anything, which has never happened to us. We don't do that. So.
Well, but do you upload like clips of the show?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So much. Yeah. So much. Almost all our followers are from just stealing directly from HBO directly.
Right. Well, David Zaslav, CEO of HBO Max Warner, if you're watching / listening to this, you should allow these two to do whatever they want because they're bringing girls back to life.
And I'm sure he listens. I'm sure he listens.
Yeah.
I'm sure his daughter listens.
Yeah. He's in his like $80 million mansion. Like my favorite podcast.
Fingers crossed.
LOL.
I feel like he'd love our fun, quirky personalities.
He also hates our vocal fry.
Yeah. Which, by the way, our vocal fry isn't even that bad in real life. It's the audio effects I apply to the raw footage. So take that.
You amp up the vocal fry.
Yeah. I add vocal fry effect. Okay, back to the episode. So Hannah's pregnant. And she's telling her mother, and then Hannah's mom is so sad about her own mortality. I mean, this season has really been mortality heavy.
Yes, definitely. And I actually, as much as I just said her mom was mean, I actually relate to her in that aspect of it. Like, especially when something good is happening either in my life or a friend's life or whatever, or like going to a wedding or whatever. Sometimes that does make me sad, you know, in a way where I just start reflecting on like mortality and like what it 100%. Means to live a life and like have these big moments throughout it. And then you die. That's so scary.
It really is.
I got shivers again.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is so crazy when, because of how opposites work. Like when birth comes up and then death comes up, or like when you're at a wedding, you just think about loneliness. Like it's so.
Oh, when I'm at a wedding, I'm like, who are the 4 other gay guys here? I'm kind of just looking around the room, like, who else here is gay?
That's the better way to go. Yeah.
And I'm like Joe from Little Woman. What does she say? She's like, no prospects, no nothing.
No, there's actually no one hornier than a guy at a wedding.
Really? Like a random guy or
just
you?
Just a guy and girl, everyone. Because when you witness love, it's like, well, if I don't have that myself, then I have to go after it right now. And
right.
There's no opportunity.
And also there's like free alcohol and everyone's,
exactly.
Yeah.
The party's partying.
I'm at least making out with a girl that night, like it or not.
Oh, you've been cheating on me. Okay.
We never said we were close.
Let's finish up Hannah's whatever. So Elijah finds out. Do you think Elijah's mad that he found out that way, or he's just mad in general?
I think he's mad in general. I mean, if I was gonna like psychoanalyze him, I would say that like he feels like she's leaving him behind by being pregnant because in a way he is her baby. Because 100%. Like, I mean, like even her telling him to like clean up his room at the beginning of the episode or whatever, like, you know, it's like she's literally his mom in a way. And so I feel like he feels abandoned.
I really do feel like it's like a separation.
Yeah.
And it's like Hannah and Elijah have been together for so long, like all through college, all through post-grad. I mean, they've been really roommating lately. And Elijah's still stuck in this place where he hasn't really like become an adult fully. So the idea that like his tether is now gonna go into this next chapter, it like brings up a bunch of negative feelings for him of like, what am I doing? I haven't done anything. Like the fact that Hannah's like, I'm ready to grow up. Elijah's like, I'm not. And the fact that you are is making me have to question my own place in the world right now. And I don't like that you're bringing that up for me. So I'm going to yell at you at the restaurant kitchen.
Well, this is the plight of a gay man. Or it's like, because the adolescence is so much later in life, like those female friendships are so formative for so many gay men in the earlier years. They come to a lesser extent, and then they really rely on their gay community because like they watch their female counterparts like get into these way more committed relationships, like have children, like aspire in their career, and it's like a lot of these guys are left behind, and like here's a really great counterpart to it where it's like Hannah is having that baby, and like Elijah's at a point where it's like he's smoking salvia every day at 10 a.m. where it's like Hannah, even though she is still like unserious in so many ways, she's like getting more serious. Like they're both like, Elijah's assumed unemployed, like Hannah's making $23K a year, like they're both just like poor, living on the brink of everything, just like having fun in New York City, and like that's an unspoken commitment between the two of them. So it almost feels like a real betrayal to him, betray to him, because now that promise that like even though it was unspoken in its head is completely broken.
I think that kind of relationship exists with other people in the show too, like with Jessa, and like this kind of tension between like a perpetual adolescence and growing up, whatever that means, and feeling like those two things are in tension with each other, which I feel like something the show does is like shows that that's not necessarily true. Like you can have both of them. You can like be weird and a mess and an adult at the same time. But I feel like that's one of the central tensions of the show is like, how do you grow up, and does growing up mean like abandoning this like youthful energy?
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, I have this with like a lot of my former friends from like college or everything, where it's like living in Brooklyn and like pursuing comedy and like more abstract careers where it's like it's less serious. I still like take it seriously, but because it's perceived as less serious, and like I don't have the same like aspirations like finding a partner right away and like maybe like moving to suburbs and climbing a very traditional corporate ladder, it's like I've become so disconnected from those people's lives where it's like, and it's seen as something so much less serious. It's like age is only a number, and like the way you actually perceive your own life is kind of where actually your actual age in some ways.
Right. Yeah, and I look at people like, I don't know why my parents are coming to mind, but like,
please,
they're, hi mom and dad. My mom has a Google alert set for me, so she'll probably see this.
that just made me get nervous. I'm like, I hope my mom never discovers that feature.
But they're like getting up there in age, but they're like very youthful. They still live in the city. They are like going to restaurants. They go, they're like living life. Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, I admire that about them. And am I allowed to talk about the end of the show, even though it's not? Something I find sad about the end of the show is that she kind of feels like she has to give that up in order to raise this baby. And I think it to me, it's almost like a horror movie ending where it's like she's in this house, like alone.
It's
and like
really dark.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we'll get there in a month or two.
It's the same counterpart as like Loreen and her too, because she is so serious with Hannah too, being like, "Are you sure you're ready for this kid? Okay, you're ready for this kid." And she's not unserious until the point she gets like so high, and it's like, "I will see death in your baby," like, or when she's like eating the edible and like a bit more carefree, and she's like, "I will never be able to take your kids to Colonial Williamsburg." Like there's like that more playfulness that comes down with drugs, which are perceived more like a youthful sense, where it's like she's actually having a really humanistic and like cool connection with her daughter, like when they're like on this more like similar terrain where it's like Lorraine is kind of lowering herself with like the intake of drugs, and Hannah admitting that she's pregnant is like really putting them on the same page with a lot of things. And like this is we've never seen them both so closely. It's usually so mother-daughter, right? But here it's so like, here we are kind of on the same page as equals.
It's also what really stuck out to me is like the way Loreen and Hannah are the same as they always make everything about themselves, and the way that so much of everything Loreen's saying is just because she hasn't really made peace with like her husband and like how his gayness like affected like her like relationship to like the story of her life, is like so much of like Hannah having the kid is like her being like, lost in her own life and feeling like, oh no, the cycle is like about to repeat itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like, it's not something I've ever thought about with girls, but it's interesting because I feel like both of her parents become adolescents again as she has to become an adult.
Literally.
And like, I don't know if that was like purposeful on Lena's part, but I assume so because, as I said, she's a genius. But it's like really interesting that she almost has to replace them in like a psychological sense, like her mom is single and having like this crisis, and her dad is like gay and living the fun gay life or whatever, and and now all of a sudden she's like a mom and she has to take their place.
Yeah.
Also, one very interesting thing that I noticed here, where it's like the first episode, Hannah calls her dad Papa when she's on opium pods, and she's never called me that before. And then in this episode, it's kind of an interesting callback because Hannah's like, "Oh, how's Papa doing?" Where it's like, that nickname really stuck after the opium pods.
Wow.
Yeah.
Shout out, Papa. Let's close out Hannah's arc. So the episode ends, of course, with Hannah being upset because Elijah is being like, "You're a terrible mother," and she's still confident in her choice, but she is definitely like recognizing her own fear surrounding it. And then she sits on the stoop and she's met with this character that is like scarily like her, and then she finds out like it must be the actress playing her in the film Adam and Jessa are shooting, and then they actually randomly have kind of a beautiful heart-to-heart about motherhood.
Right. And I found it interesting that the actress, what's her name again?
Mira,
but and then the actual actress's name is 3 really crazy words.
What?
Wait, let me pull.
Not the actress. But okay, so this person has 3 names, which is her actual name,
right?
The actress name, and then the actors then playing Lena as Mira.
Right. Well, Mira in the show is the only person that's happy for Lena, which I feel like is like, or for Hannah. I mean, but like, I feel like that's Hannah being happy for herself in a way. You know, it's like she has to realize that that she's like the end all be all of why she's doing this, that like no one's going to give her permission or say it's a good idea, that she just has to like decide it.
And she's a very interesting line with Hannah, which really stuck with me, where it's like being a mother isn't the hard part, being an adult's the hard part.
Right.
Daisy Egan, and the actor's name in the episode is Genevieve.
Oh yeah,
and their character's name is
and Lara falls in love with her.
So for those listening at home, I know that was all really important, all those 3 names of this fictional character that shows up in one episode, but we're in it. Also, we just got told that our hot water heater is officially broken and needs to be replaced.
Oh wow.
So we're gonna take some cool showers.
Good thing you're moving out.
I know.
How did it just break?
It happens.
Where were we?
How do we get back?
Let's dive into Adam and Jessa shooting a movie. You dived in kind of in a jump scare way where they're just suddenly shooting this really intense movie. Yeah. How did it feel?
Oh my God. I mean, I kind of like hate both of them in this episode.
Totally.
Because they both seem to be really selfish and like not communicating with each other what they actually want or what they're actually feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And like when Jessa is just like being mean to Mira and to Adam and like just like criticizing every scene they're shooting, I'm just like, just say how you feel. But that's like her whole thing.
I guess that's how the movie works, how the movies work.
Yeah, but I'm like, A, did it go Indiegogo style? Like, where'd they get the money from?
Right.
How did Adam write a script so fast?
Right.
We have 2 friends who have been trying to make a short film for about 9 years.
It's only 15 pages.
And the amount of work that has gone into it, they haven't even shot it yet. And it's like, I know Adam and Jessa could not do what our friends are doing. Like, there's no
Adam
way.
hand wrote the whole thing, it sounds like.
I know. I'm like, how did this fall into place?
He did it too well.
But maybe this is one of Lena Dunham's like blind spots, considering she like walked into HBO with a 1-page pitch. And they were like, here's $10 jillion. So she just thinks that's like how movies are made.
She's like, I actually think it is really easy to get stuff made. You kind of make one PowerPoint.
Yeah. And they're like, here's all the money in the world.
Judd Apatow surely had a hand in Adam and Jessa's project. But it is so, I do like the plot. I do like that this is what's happening in season 6 because it is such an amazing way for Jessa to realize in real time, like, the truth of Hannah and Adam's relationship, because I think she only got into the relationship because she had such a skewed perception of like what that relationship was and how real it was, and she's feeling all these really real things for him, and she's like, I must be the only girl who's ever experienced this with him. So to then see in real time that maybe isn't the truth is shocking, and it's like her fault because she's the producer and she's creating this thing that's making her realize this thing. I'm like, that sounds like hell on earth.
By the way, I would fund anyone I'm ever dating's a short film if it's about their love and sex life, so they can finally tell me what the hell's going on with them. I'm not just dive in feet first, no understanding what the hell's going on.
Yeah,
literally.
I'd like love for it to be a short film about your past dates. Just so I have a little
know
bit.
Your exes should have. One of our friends.
They could write like a poem. That's like a cheaper way to do it.
Poems are literally a blog post.
I'm not reading that.
Our friend's ex made a one man show about their relationship, and then invited him to see it.
Wait.
Oh my god!
And he went and saw it.
Can't wait to see him.
How was it?
That up.
Not great, apparently.
Oh,
but
wow.
Are plays ever great? Can plays be good?
There's like one or two good plays in history.
In the history of the world.
Yeah.
One of them was Shakespeare.
Yeah, O'Mary and Shakespeare.
It was literally Hamlet and O'Mary, and that's kind of where the list ends. Okay, yeah. What do we think about Adam and Jessa and that whole plot line?
I mean, they're just two chaotic people, and they're too chaotic together, and they need to be separated and like put in cages. I think, like,
literally,
yeah,
they should be caged.
I just want to see what's like a two people with avoidant personalities date, and it's like, thank God we get to see it on screen now.
Right. Yes.
I will say, like, Jemima looks so sick in this episode.
Oh my god, she was so hot. I mean, both of them are really hot.
Yeah. But like her red lip and her being kind of a girl boss producer, I was like, I'm actually forgiving you for everything.
It's a great day to be bi.
Yes.
Watching the two of them interact.
But yeah, shout out to that. I wish we could watch a Vimeo of their completed film.
Oh my god, that would be amazing. I wonder if there's any footage of it.
I know.
Probably not.
Yeah, but there's actually a lot of footage from the Marnie music video.
That is true.
True.
And how does that song go?
What?
I know what I know, if you know what I mean.
Philosophy.
Marnie and Ray broke up. How do we feel?
I mean, yeah, we all saw this coming. No one on this couch was surprised for a single second.
Right.
I'm surprised because Ray is so no, I guess it does make sense.
Well, we're talking about big life events here where it's like Hannah's getting pregnant. Ray just had his like closest friend, I guess, he didn't really like die. It's like, yeah, he's gonna be really like reflective in this time period.
I ultimately kind of really related to Marnie being bored at the house.
Oh my god.
When somebody dies and you have to like go to the house, it's like, what do we do for this many hours?
I know, but 40 minutes is not that long.
I know, but it feels really long.
You know what that house reminds me of? And Unbreakable Kimmy Smith, they're like, yeah, this is an apartment that was a buried tugboat that we put under our house. Like, that's what this apartment is as well.
It's reminding me of, have you seen Baby Reindeer?
I haven't actually.
Okay, well, the stalker's apartment in that is reminding me of this one.
Oh, because it's cluttered?
Yeah, and it's like garden level.
We're on the garden level right now.
I know.
Wow. So girls' core.
Literally.
I just feel like, I mean, when I've gone to like a funeral and stuff, like it's annoying sometimes, or you're like, I would rather be somewhere else, but that's kind of like the point, you know? Like it's supposed to be.
You
sad.
can't complain when someone dies. It's like,
it's death.
Actually, you have to kind of just bear with it. If anyone needs anything from you, you like have to be there.
Right.
You really can't get out of it.
I take so much discomfort in events like that because it is so much like, it's like, oh yeah, the funeral, but then it's like, well, that's only an hour, and then the whole day has to feel really weird, and you're not sure what to do with your hands, and like you just keep looking at the same Instagram stories. Like it just feels, because you're like, I'm taking the day off, like I can't work, I can't whatever, and then just to sit with yourself always feels so.
That's why candy cards was invented.
Literally. You only get 5 lives, so
make them last, girl. That person already lost theirs.
Yeah.
Oh no, so sorry.
I do think it's important that Marnie be called out for once.
Yeah,
Ray's ability to be like, you're literally terrible. I have to go.
Well, she's been addicted to working out. I'm like, I don't understand why no offense, you take a class pass every day. And it's like, they have to be so different. It's like, I guess when you get so into working out, like for you to skip a workout, my brother's like this, it's like, it actually will destroy everything for you. And like, you've had a rhythm, and like for you to pause everything for a single second, it's like, you can't understand a world for a single second after that.
Right. But I don't know if that's healthy.
No, not at all. Yeah. By the way, it's not. Yeah. I see the way it's ravaged my brother.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Marnie is like supposed to be the most put together one, but in a way she strikes me as like the most crazy in the way that like sometimes like a serial killer is like very put together, but you're kind of scared of them because of how put together they are, you know?
I think she's definitely
Which I'm sorry because you said you're Marnie.
Yeah.
So I don't think you're a serial killer.
No, but she does present that way.
I do think Marnie lacks the self-awareness that all the other characters have. I mean, Hannah's the most self-aware, but I think Shosh and Jessa at least know or have an inkling of like what their vibe is, whereas Marnie is so set in what her vision of herself is that anytime somebody's like, here's proof and evidence that you're not like that, she literally freaks out. Like the fact that she leaves the breakup and is like, I'm a good person, by the way, is just so...
It's just like, I'm not a bad person.
I'm not a bad person. It's like she is feeling like she's a bad person, and she feels like people have like evidence like
bad
against
people
her.
Always say like, that. Bad people were like, I'm not a bad person, by the way. It's like, well, then why do you have to say it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I actually, if I was ever killed someone, you are the first person I would call.
If you killed someone?
There was a murder, even accidental.
If you had to like
and I had to cover it
dispose of a body.
I'm calling Amelia first.
Did you guys watch?
You would kill him pretty
the
low
pilot
liars.
of Search Party, and you were like, yeah, I'd hide the body too. Yeah, I'd be one of them.
Wait, pilot?
Is that the pilot? Or
no,
it's season 1 finale.
Season 1 finale, yeah. Kind of the opposite of a pilot.
Right.
An ending.
It sets into motion the rest of the series. I haven't ever thought about that.
It's a pilot for the other 4 seasons.
Yes, exactly.
LOL. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I actually never really saw Marty and Ray together. This scene that we're having here, is it almost, it's so funny to remember this scene and then this scene that where they're in that Chinese restaurant together, and she's like, they're pave diamonds, and Ray's like, your whole thing is so ridiculous. I can't believe someone could be so like frivolous and like annoying. And it's like, Marnie again here during their breakup is like being frivolous and annoying. And it's like, I care so much about my workout classes, and I care about pave diamonds, and it's like, okay, why didn't you just focus on like Ray's actually going through the hardest things he ever had to for a single second.
Right. And I mean, that whole relationship, I mean, I've seen friends in relationships. I've probably been in relationships like this where it's like, obviously this doesn't work, and you're just like doing this because you like feel like obligated to in some way. And I feel like that's why Ray is like so like nonchalant when he's like, let's break up, because he's just like, this doesn't even make sense.
Literally.
You know,
it's like, almost like he knew already that it would end, and he's already accepted that. And so by the time he actually says it, it's almost old news to both of them.
I love the way he broke up with her ass though, where she's like, okay, I'm gonna head down now. And she's like, why don't you leave? That's a good idea, and actually never show your ass here again, bitch. It was so smooth, honestly.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a really good way to break up.
That is a good way to break up with someone.
And he didn't blame her for anything. He's just like, I'm tired.
Yeah, we're
like,
done.
Oh my god, he's an expert.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gorge.
I love Ray.
I'm like, we were kind of so with Ray, even negative in the earlier seasons.
Really?
But like,
I still am.
as it goes on, like, I really do love this man.
He just feels very like real, you know?
He feels so real.
Yeah.
To me, he's getting too much screen time over Shoshana. Like, why is Ray the 4th girl this season? I don't care about like him and his mentor and that whole thing. Like, teach me about Shosh's marketing job.
Right.
That's what I'm invested in.
Right.
I'm not. I'm glad we're seeing a tugboat under apartment being cleaned up.
Yeah.
Shoshana has like 11 words in this episode.
Yeah, it's really, I'm surprised how little she was in it. And I wonder if she had like, I don't know, scheduling conflicts, like Zasha.
It took us a season to learn.
If she had scheduling conflicts, I don't know, but it's weird. It is weird. I mean, she always was kind of like the 4th one, you know, like kind of like on the side a little bit.
She was never actually meant to be main character, but they kind of just were like, she's so good, we have to.
Right.
Yeah, and that really is kind of evident here. Well, it's also like you can't really show Shoshana right now because like the crux between Shoshana and Marnie is Ray.
Right.
It's like so it's like you have to focus on one or the other during that. But I do really love Shoshana and Ray's dynamic here, where Shoshana's like coming there to comfort him, and like it's a direct comparison to Marnie, who's like barely in the room, and it's like Shoshana's being a really good quote unquote girlfriend, even though they're not dating, like friend that's a girl. She's like, I'll be here for you, don't worry, I'll never die, like that's not a thing I'll do, so you don't have to worry about me. Like, so sweet. It is like kind of like a really cringy movie in some ways, but like it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like one of the things that Girls does so well is it does cringy without it being cringe somehow.
Yeah.
Like in any other show, so many lines in that show could be like, this is eye-rollingly bad, you know, but there's a way it's done that feels like understated. So
totally.
Yeah.
Elijah is so well written, and it really stood out to me this episode just because every single line he says is incredible. Are we setting up that he's auditioning for Kinky Boots?
And it's not Kinky Boots, it's White Men Can Jump.
Yes.
But yes.
I wrote down so many.
Kind of.
Okay.
But,
wait.
I think my favorite line was when Hannah is on the phone with her mom, and she's like, "This is Brooklyn, the most dangerous place in America."
So funny.
That made me
You're
laugh.
not little Kim.
Yeah.
I just love Elijah literally on Adderall being like, "You lost, Loreen. Go find my shoes. I'll help her find her." Or like,
oh yeah, this isn't Muppets in Manhattan.
Literally,
where is she?
Hannah's freaking out, and Elijah's like, "She's probably just at a theater fisting a box of Raisinets." I'm like, "Girl, you kill me."
Oh.
But my favorite line was definitely when Hannah says, I feel like I'm gonna have to start drinking water.
Yes.
Now that
yes.
she's pregnant, she's like, finally, I have to actually have water.
She blows away. She's like, secondhand smoke is kind of just a natural thing of a baby being born in New York City, and then she blows away to smoke. I thought that was cute, that juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's perf.
Okay, we have a new segment for you.
Girl,
Girl, get your Glock. It's rapid fire time.
Oh no,
it's only new to you.
I know, we've been doing it for months.
I'm scared.
Are you a schoolgirl or are you getting schooled, girl?
What?
Perfect answer. Why is Marnie mad at you?
Oh my God. I told her to stop working out.
What's your favorite utensil?
Spoon.
Are you a voice of
That's
your
not true.
generation or a voice of a generation?
Oh, definitely a voice of a generation.
Are you going to live forever?
No.
Okay.
Is it grief talking or the asbestos?
Definitely asbestos. I'm being poisoned at all times.
Which, can I just say briefly, in high school, my school reached a point of percentage that they had to alert our entire district that we had a toxic level of asbestos in our walls and that we won't be doing anything about it, but that people who have been working there or ever using a thumbtack in a wall will get cancer and die. Twitter was crazy that week.
Wow.
We were all like 15 being like, this is no good.
Wait, is Twitter not Yik Yak?
What?
Is Twitter not Yik Yak?
It was Twitter.
Oh, we did Yik Yak at my school over Twitter even.
Oh my God. I love finding my old tweets when I was still a Christian. I'm just tweeting Bible verses. Do you think you would like Colonial Williamsburg?
I've been there and I hated it.
Wait, I loved it. Not that it was about me at all. But yeah,
Wow.
I went in third grade. I thought it was magical.
Really? I just was bored. I was so bored.
Well, you were downtown Manhattan.
Yeah,
I'm
mean,
from Westchester.
I like the country. I don't know. It was.
Wait,
I could be at the Met.
I'm like, I discovered my love of bonnets that way, and like people turning butter was hot to me.
No, I went to like Salem, Massachusetts, and I thought like the witch stuff was cool. So I'm pro historical landmark, but
you're into the Witcher.
Are they
stuff.
reenacting there as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean, no, there's like it's not like the same like kind of official thing, but there's definitely like people playing witches.
What's her name? Mira in there as an actress in Colonial Williamsburg.
Yes.
I think she could turn things around.
She could.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Is Brooklyn one of the most dangerous places in America?
In a way, but not the way you think.
Not the way you think. What are 3 reasons you're not ready to have a baby?
I am incapable of being pregnant.
Period.
I do not have any lover in my life currently. And I hate children.
Yes. Those are really good reasons.
Can you run in a slight heel?
No.
And can egg rolls be crispier?
I hate egg rolls.
Really?
Yeah, I mean not hate, but they're like
Cut the cameras.
They're my least favorite Chinese food.
Wait, actually, I have one question I want to ask.
Oh,
what does it mean that Ryan Dylan Davidson got the male lead in Kinky Boots for us?
I don't understand the question.
That's why I deleted it. Okay, last segment. That outfit in Brooklyn.
That's when you compare Brooklyn then versus Brooklyn now.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything in this episode stand out to you as chronically 2015?
I mean, they went to M Noodle.
They
Shop,
went to M Noodle. Well,
which
they
is
walked
still
in,
there,
but didn't.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's still kicking.
Yeah, which is rare. I feel like.
Yeah, especially in a post-COVID.
Yeah.
Everything changed.
What else about this episode?
Marnie's wearing a literal like go to the office skirt, cheetah print, with a muscle tank that says LA/New York.
Oh, I love
which
that.
is such the moment that we had where it's like every shirt just said like West Coast or East Coast.
Yes.
It was like the PacSun era.
It's the world's cheapest cotton.
Right.
Which, by the way, I went to a PacSun this Sunday.
What?
It's amazing there.
Where did you find a PacSun?
Right next to Urban Outfitters.
Located where were those located?
What is that street? It was an amazing street because everybody's parents are in town for graduation.
Were you in Soho on Broadway?
Soho, that's what it was. Can you imagine? I walked here from Bushwick to Angelica movie theater to catch a flick, but I only brought my Apple Pay and they only accept real card, so I didn't see the movie. So I walked 2.5 hours to the movie theater to then not see the movie and instead window shop in PacSun.
That's amazing. That's what life is all about.
Yeah, it was amazing. But PacSun is exactly what you think it's like.
Yeah.
Still.
I don't think I've been in one since I was like 13 or something.
Did they have a Princess Polly section in there now?
Yes, they did.
Okay, that is very interesting to me.
My friend used to work at Princess Polly.
Well, because they were only e-commerce, and now they're kind of having a footprint inside PacSun stores because PacSun bought Princess Polly.
Okay, and we'll clip that because that is gonna go viral. But
I mean, one general thought I had about like Brooklyn is like I feel like I've said growing up in New York like 1,000 times, so I'm sorry to be the annoying person being like growing up in New York.
We'll make a supercut of just every time we bring it up.
But I feel like Brooklyn was like, not because of safety or anything. It was just like not like a place that people went unless you lived there, like when I was growing up. And then it became this thing, obviously. And now so many people move here. But what's weird is that watching Girls, it almost feels like a quaint version of Brooklyn that we've like now even passed that to like an even more crazy gentrified version of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I remember this Brooklyn from like 10 years ago. And it feels like a little village, you know?
Literally. Well, it is. Hannah makes less than $24,000 and can live in Greenpoint. Yeah. Now it costs $4,000 a month to live in Greenpoint.
Right.
Which
Nothing
is
safe.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah, I didn't like her template of Word. I'm glad that we've kept upgrading Word as a platform.
Word is the worst
it's
thing
the
in the world.
worst.
Yeah.
But it's better now in
$6.99 for Word every month. I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
You have to.
You're addicted to Word. You're addicted to Microsoft Word.
I don't know how to get to the subscription section.
Can you imagine getting Excel out of the blue though? It's like sometimes you kind of need that platform.
Well, what about just like Google Sheets or whatever?
I know. I have to for work.
Yeah.
They should be paying for it though.
They should be paying for it.
I thought my job like wasn't so bad, but if you consider inflation, like I can't actually afford to live.
Right. That's the thing is like everything costs $12 million now.
I love that number.
My manager
there was a jar of mayonnaise in the grocery store the other day that was $13.
Don't say that.
For like literally a normal jar.
What?
Yeah. And
was it fancy packaging though?
No, it was Hellman's mayonnaise.
Don't say that.
$13. Well, I went to a CVS to buy dry shampoo and it cost $15.
Jesus.
And I literally like jumped at the cashier. I was like, What do you mean? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, this is crazy.
I know. I mean, how would Hannah survive this New York is a question, I think.
You can't be a freelance writer in this.
No.
Well, you can be.
Yeah.
Unpaid.
Really not. Right. Well, it's hard.
A single mom freelance writer is not going to make it in 2024.
Where did she think she was going to raise that baby, though? Like in the family room?
Right. I don't know.
The family room plus kitchen?
Well, I'm always imagining if I became a mother in this house, like, would I be able to pull it off? And
yeah, you could, this house.
Yeah.
I have a friend from high school who has 3 children and lives in New York City. And she's great. She's an amazing mom. And but they live in like a small apartment, but they make it work. So I think it's possible.
Well, you forget that people used to live in caves.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess if they can live in caves, they can live in a tiny
exactly.
New York City
think about the Tenement Museum.
Yeah, and don't forget. Yeah, that's a good
Wait,
point.
I went to the Tenement Museum and I was like, this is nicer than my apartment. Like, they were like, can you believe people lived here? And I was like, yeah. And their rent was so much cheaper than mine.
And they're in the heart of the city.
Yeah.
They did do reenactments there as well, talking about Colonial Williamsburg. But if you go to a specific floor of the Tenement Museum, some days of the week, there are people reenacting what it's like to live in a tenement.
Wow.
Okay.
What are they doing? Just like sitting and smoking a pipe or something?
Pooping in a bucket.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool.
That's my apartment has a bucket too.
Weight Watchers is now called W. Is that true?
WW.
WW.
Yeah.
Would Loreen still be on it? I feel like she'd be Ozemp.
I think she would have like a moral problem with Ozempic.
Maybe because she's a teacher after all.
I think she would just be like, I want to like do the work or something.
15% of people in America have tried Ozempic.
Really?
That's
crazy.
Medical pot is over.
Yeah, medical pot is over.
Because you can get regular at any bodega.
Yeah.
She'd be smoking Delta 8, I'm for sure.
I will say the Lorelai Gilmore reference, timeless, but only to me because I watch Gilmore Girls as if it's the first time every day of my life. But our roommate last night was watching Gilmore Girls, so it's not just me.
I watched it 2 days ago.
Do you care about it?
I have seen one episode in my life, I think.
And it didn't change you forever?
I mean, I liked it, honestly. I should watch it.
Yeah. I'm like, I have a gun to your head. You're like, oh, okay.
I watched the pilot of that show, aka the last episode.
Adderall addictions are stronger than ever, I fear.
Yes.
I'm like,
definitely.
all my friends are on that.
6 would be really intense, though.
What?
Yeah, 6 Adderall is crazy. That's
especially
like,
for
go
him to just
hospital.
hang out.
Yeah.
To stalk someone on Facebook. I guess Facebook stalking instead. It's now Instagram, TikTok stalk.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Google
I mean, I feel like
Alerts.
there was a time in my life. I feel like I remember being like 23. I mean, they're a little older in the show, but I remember being like 23 and like taking a lot of like drugs and then like just being like crazy but feeling like I was like, I don't know. It was like fun in a way to be like Elijah, back then, but he's a little too old for that.
Yeah, when you have nothing else going for you to be unhinged is like, it is like freeing because it's like you have nothing to lose at the end of the day. But when you have something to lose and being unhinged, it's like, well, then that's scary and bad.
Yeah.
Me at my 26th birthday party talking to a 29-year-old being like, do you think I should get addicted to Adderall this year? And she was like, yeah, probably. I did that when I was 26 and look at me now. I work for The Daily Show.
26-year-olds are more mature now than 26-year-olds before because of Cove?
I think yes and no. I mean, I feel like, I don't know if it's more mature, but I feel like there's less
you have to have more
frenetic
money
energy
now,
in the
too.
world.
Yeah, it's
because
also
you
true.
have to have more money, and then also so much social interaction is through the internet, and it's like there's just like less like crazy shit happening, and so I feel like it's less like maturity and more just like maybe like a little more boring, honestly.
Oh hell.
But I'm old, so maybe I just don't know.
No, I think you're right, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm like, all we have now is mansions.
Yeah.
By mansions, I mean the club.
That's carpeted.
The carpeted club.
It's kind of like our house.
It's the only fun place in America.
The last thing that I wrote down for this was the sandals. When they're sitting on the stoop in their summer dresses and their 2015 sandals, it took me home. In high school in Texas, this is what every girl wore.
Mm-hmm.
Every girl had these specific type of sandals, and there's like 4 different ways they could be, and 2 of them were represented in the media in this episode. I felt really at peace. I felt good. It made me want to put on a little dress, which I did.
Well, yeah, I would have done the same if I felt that.
I
But
know.
I didn't.
I feel like Hannah, she's not a fashion icon by any means, but
No.
she wears what's nice and comfortable, and there's something to be appreciated in that.
Yeah, I don't want
She's
Hannah
hot.
to be SJP.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
No.
Oh my God, whatever. That's a whole other conversation. I hate Sex in the City, honestly. So
And
It feels
tune into our
regressive.
Patreon
Yeah.
exclusive with PE about Sex in the City. We don't have that.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah.
This has kind of been the most
Thanks
fun day
for
of my
having
whole
me.
life.
Where
Yeah.
can the people find you?
I'm Pem on Twitter, and then you can find all my
Gorge.
shit from there.
I literally saw you tweet about girls and said, I'm sending an email.
I'm obsessed. I think about it like once a month. I'll like remember it exists, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's the best show in the entire universe."
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll be back next
Thank you.
week with season 6, episode 6. Till then, ciao.
Wow.
You've never said ciao before.